Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into 2 parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Hello, friends, and welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. I think I need to update and restart my computer. That's why that, I don't know, it's just my theory as to why the machine, you be out of the blue, you hear it sounds like somebody just unplugged a USB. No idea. But I know it's annoying, so I probably have to look into that. Welcome in to the latest edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast. For those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot of ground to cover. Quick story. Well, when I was growing up, I used to watch Hockey Night in Canada with my father. So we'd be sitting around and turn on Channel 9, CBC, over the air, because where I live, you get plenty of reception from the Windsor station. Okay, it's Hockey Night in Canada. And then that's the only way you could watch hockey. And if the Red Wings are on, okay, that's a big deal. Or if Dad would take us to the rink, we might watch the Red Wings at Olympia Stadium. This is before Joe Louis Arena. And I take it back because this doesn't add up because the guy I'm about to mention, he played at Joe Louis, not Olympia. But my dad used to take us to Olympia Stadium. I was very, very young. And but my dad had there was this guy named John Ogrodnik for the Red Wings. And my dad was in love with this guy. So that Johnny O. Johnny O is what he was known as. Johnny O. Oh, boy, that Johnny O. He is something else, guy. You watch him, he's like, boom, he's gone. Goal scored. He's scored lots of goals, guy. And I'm like, so I grew up to loving John Ogrodnik. Most of the younger people don't know that name, and you should. Ogrodnik, prior to Steve Yzerman, was the only Red Wing in history to score 50 goals in a season. Several times he scored north of 40. He was a goddamn legend. They drafted Steve Yzerman later on, and then it isn't that they didn't need him, but eventually Ogrodnik moved on to play, I think, with Quebec, and then finished his career. He played a year with the Rangers, year or two with the Rangers, and then back to Detroit to finish his career in 1993. So I know John Ogrodnik just from watching him, and he's a goal scorer. I mean, John Ogrodnik scored 405 goals. And that puts him like about 125th all time. You know, he scored more goals in his career than Paul Coffey, Eric Lindros. I mean, there's a list of Hall of Fame players that he scored more goals than them. Unbelievable talent. So I'm at this event that I was at last night. More on that in a second. That's why I'm late. And I know there's going to be some famous Detroit athletes that are there. And I go up to the and it's at Ford Field, so I walk into Ford Field, and I'm helping host the event. I'm actually the most important person there, and I'm not even kidding. Molly is like, so I didn't miss today's show? No, I did a poor job of telling you that today was going to be late. This is like it's my first show right here. But I wanted to jump right into the story. So here I am at Ford Field. And, I mean, there's a lot riding on this. This is a fundraiser, and it's up to me to make sure that the right things happen so that funds roll in for this charity. And I go walking up to the spot where you register and you get your little name tag. And I'm looking at the name tags, and I see John Ogrodnik's name tag. And I'm like, what the fuck? Huh? No way. Johnny O is here. Hey, Johnny O. I love that guy, Johnny O. I mean, look up John Ogrodnik. You'll see for yourself the success that this guy had. And so I'm like pumped. And then I go to the lady on the other side of the table. And I go, hey, hello. I'm here to register. My name is, and she goes, Eric Zane. And I go, right. She goes, oh my God. And she's like giddy. And she's from West Michigan. It's like, okay, that's awesome. That's nice. It makes you feel good when you're kind of a loser. So, all right, cool, you know. And see, this charitable organization is known as Hope Network. And they're based in West Michigan, but they're all over the state. They have 35,000 people that benefit from what they do, from people who might be homeless, very, very big in autistic learning for people and individuals who experience that and their families. So I made friends with these folks about a month ago and volunteered my services, and they said, we're going to take you up on that. You need to come to our gala at Ford Field, and we want you to help raise money. You're going to be the one that says, hey, we need money, raise your... It's a type of thing where everybody gets a paddle with a number on it. And so you start at like a high dollar amount. All right, who wants to help fund this program and this program? Oh my God, hold your paddle up if you want to make a $2,500 donation. Where are you? Let's see those paddles. Come on now, dig deep. And a lot of these people come from wealthy backgrounds, so you see a few paddles go up and you say, all right, there's a $137, $2,500. Thank you so much. $221. Oh my God, God bless you. And my job is to keep it moving, keep the momentum going, try not to be awkward. You're asking for money. It can't be weird. All right, now we're going to go to the $1,000 level. Who wants, so you do that. Takes 10 minutes. Everybody gives money, and all the way down to $100, and then you're done. So that's my job. Beforehand, there's like a cocktail hour. I don't do cocktails, but there's also food, and it was excellent food. And one of the things they had was lamb chop lollipops. All right. And they looked amazing. So I go, well, that's it. That's like one of my favorite things on the planet is lamb. Forget that it's an adorable animal. And I go walking up to get it. And then a hand comes and grabs it. And it's John Ogrodnik. Motherfucker took the last lamb chop. And I'm like, Johnny O took the last lamb chop. God damn it. A guy. He steals the puck and the lamb chop, guy. So it was awkward because I'm going in to get it and then his hand grabs it and I'm like, Eventually they brought more lamb chops out and I was able to get my lamb chop. But then I go, all right, I need to introduce myself to Johnny Ogrodnik, for God's sake. So amazingly, I did not do anything fucked up. This is normally the time of the story where I am going to, say the wrong thing or make an asshole out of myself or it's not even him, whatever. Hang on, I got to drink this. But none of that happened. I come up to him, I go, Mr. Ogrodnik. He goes, call me John. John Ogrodnik. I can't tell you how happy. You don't know me. My name is Eric Zane, blah, 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 blah. I'm just so glad you're here. People are going to love you being here. This is outstanding. Let me introduce you to my wife, Betty Ann. I go, oh, my God, Betty Ann Ogrodnik. It's a pleasure. She's absolutely lovely. John's about 65, maybe. Ballpark, taller guy. Excellent shape. And wife's beautiful. And so through the course of the introduction, I say, yeah, I'm the public address announcer for the Grand Rapids Griffins. And now, so he obviously knows a lot about hockey, and he follows the Red Wings. He goes, oh, so you see all the young guys. I go, yeah. Oh, tell me about this guy. Tell me about that guy. So right away, we've got some commonality, and it's It's a nice conversation, and I have to kind of like stay cool here, all right? Because this is a fucking like legend in my mind. Granted, you don't probably know the name, but you didn't grow up in Detroit watching Hockey Night in Canada. This is before players were seen all over the place. This is before social media. To me, this is a very, very big deal. Chris says, sorry, I'm not sure who that player is. Well, I don't expect anybody to know it. He says, I play Candy Crush on my phone and wait for the period to end so I can go potty. He said, oh, I see. That's what are you suggesting that I'm saying that, you asshole? No, come on. Hang on, I got to finish this coffee. So I realized that I'm talking to John O'Grodnick. And oh my God, this is fucking great. And then I noticed he can't shut up. And then I'm looking at, I got to get downstairs to start hosting this event. And so I'm like kind of like looking around, and I'm trying not to give cues that I have to go, but the cocktail area is clearing out. And he's like to the bartender, can I get another drink? Another drink. I go, oh, okay, all right. So he gets another drink, and he goes, you got a couple minutes? I go, yeah, of course, yeah. And he's telling me all these old hockey stories, which I love. You know, he's talking to me about he started like when he was playing hockey in Canada. He's telling me stories from when he was like a teenager, when he got drafted. And I mean, he's telling me everything. And then, you know, I'm like, you know, my feet are starting to fall asleep because I've been standing too long, and you know, they're closing out the bar. All the lamb chops are gone. All the food's gone. There's no. It's just him and I. And his wife comes back. She goes, John, we gotta go. John, we got everything's starting. Everything's starting, John. He goes, I'll be down there. I'll be right down there. I just got to finish the story up. And she goes, oh, okay. And then like a couple minutes goes by, and she comes walking up again. She goes, John. He goes, what? And he kind of like blasts her, puts her on blast. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. What is going on here? Are you kidding me, man? So he kind of like, he goes, well, walk with me. I'll finish the story while we're walking. I'm like, yeah, finish the story. I'm like, Jesus Christ, God damn it. So it was cool, though. I was afraid that I was missing something, you know? But he loves to talk. I found that out. You know what else he is? He's excellent. He was excellent at scoring goals in the National Hockey League. He's also excellent in telling stories. The kind. Long form, you know? So we go downstairs, and there's some other athletes that I grew up watching. I told you about the kicker, Ed Murray. He's there, and he was cool. Everything was great. And wow, it was quite an event, to say the least. But so how this came about was at a Grand Rapids Griffins hockey game. I'm doing the auction for Hope Network. We always auction off the jerseys. This time the benefactor was this organization. I met this sweet lady named Jamie. We hit it off, her and her partner. I go, look, if you ever need any help on anything, you need a voice, you need an MC, you need voice work, I'm at your disposal. By all means, I'll help you, whatever you need. She goes, I'll take you up on that. I go, I hope you do. And then I reiterated that, and she goes, well, listen. And then that put this into place. These gears in motion, this wheels in motion, or however you say that. And next thing I know, I'm off to this event. So I do the show yesterday, this podcast. It was shorter. I did not post to Patreon. I had to get going. So by the way, there was a couple NFL players there who are about the same age, about 65 now, and they're just fucked. Oh. Guy, I'm not even going to say their names. They just look like shells of human beings, you know? Like their brains are just fucked up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Prior to the event, we're doing like a run-through. Me and a couple other people. There's no one there. It's early. And this lady's going over the introduction of me when I'm going to come up and, hey, and please welcome. And it's referred to as radio and podcast host. And she goes, is there any change that you need to this? I go, yeah, do not say podcast. I go, we don't want anybody to know about this. Okay? This does not exist. She goes, why? And the CEO of this company is there. I go, because if they find out, you're going to have issues. You don't want anyone to know that you are associated with this at all. No paper trail. I am simply Eric Zaitunian. Okay? So the less people know, I don't want some rich fucking benefactor, or how do I say that? Is a benefactor the one who gives money? Some rich fucker who gives money to get pissed off, and then, that's weird. You don't want to have to deal with that. I already had to deal with that once with those assholes on from Gift of Life who, after that debacle. Adam says it's called a donor. Why could I not have thought of that? That seems fairly simple. What's a benefactor? Isn't a benefactor the one who gives the money and the beneficient is the one who receives it? Or am I flipping that deal around? I don't know. So I say, no, don't. You don't want anybody to know that I'm actually here. While on the way there, I don't know how it happened, but I'm 40 minutes down the road for a 2.5-hour car ride. And my eyes are closing. And I'm like, oh boy, this is not good. I gotta do something. I'm gonna get in a wreck. I pull over at a gas station. I get one of those coffees that tastes like you can put like an English toffee flavor. Heath Bar. They had Rolo. I go, I'm gonna drink a Rolo. Remember those candies, little chocolates with a caramel in the middle? Rolo coffee. Fill that bastard up, and I get. Then I gotta eat. And you know those things that you see spinning on the deal, and they're called like tornadoes. Oh my God. Legendary. Yes. Amen to that. All right. Good to go. 20 minutes later, I'm falling asleep again after I've slammed Rolo coffee and my tornadoes. This is not good. I pull over. I get another coffee, not flavored, just black coffee. I cool it down enough so that when I get in the car, it's just boom. Chug it. I swear to Christ, 20 minutes later, I'm falling asleep again. Now I'm like texting Diana, calling, hey, I'm falling asleep. Just so can you, maybe I should talk to you to keep, she goes, pull over. All right. So I pull it over. This is my now third stop from fatigue. And I'm not even past Lansing, Michigan, which is like an hour and 20 minutes from my house. I pull into it was not nice. It was, I go in. And I thought maybe I should get some darts. Okay? Maybe that would help me if I smoke like 5 cigarettes. And I go, no, I'm not going to do that. Murder lover Linda says you could have taken a nap at my house, easy. No. First of all, I don't want to be molested. Second of all, I don't want to be murdered. All right? You're a sick fuck. Okay? Don't ever forget that. Wait till you folks see the picture that I'm going to share with you about Murder Lover here. Oh, my God. In fact, let's do that now. This is ridiculous. Linda, I always knew that, she watches a lot of true crime and shit like that. I just unplugged my USB. Did you hear that? And I've known that, and I think she went on a trip one time somewhere in California, and I think she's been known to, like, during news events to, like, go the extra mile to, like, be the roving reporter, and but I don't know. This to me is just super horrible. This sick fuck sent me a photograph from back in the day. And this is tourist Linda. Here is Linda. And she's getting a nice snapshot here. Does anybody know what's going on here? Here, it's a bright smile on her face, and I'll link this picture in the show notes so you can all see this. Linda is now destroying my game by telling everyone in the chat, because she's a miserable fuck, where she is. What is wrong with the Smith bitches on this podcast, chat, who love to tell where they tip off everything? What is wrong with you, you animal? After Linda said, yeah, I was on vacation in Brentwood, California, everybody has pieced together that Linda wandered to the place. This is about one day after Nicole Brown Simpson was found murdered. Okay? Maureen says she's not a Smith bitch. We are Cook bitches. Whatever. These two big mouth bitches can't keep their stupid trap shut. And wrecking my stories. Linda here, if you were to get, like, extra close on that picture, you would be able to see the blood on the pavement. And here Linda is smiling out in front of the house where Nicole Brown was and Ron Goldman were found slaughtered with their heads barely hanging on by a thread. And why? Who does this? Only a murder lover would take this picture. Here I am, big smiles. I'm having so much fun in front of the spot where someone was murdered to death hours earlier. Oh my God. Closer inspection of that pic looks like just before the picture was taken, Linda went to a store that sells couch fabric and some lace, and then went to a seamstress and made this blouse here, whatever that is, and then put that shirt on, smiled for the camera in front of this murder house. And now she has it. She says, easy, do not link this picture. Well, it's out here, for God's sake. I mean, you have to be proud of this picture. You can't take that picture and then suggest that it's a problem if, like, anyone sees it. I mean, that's silly. So I need you to give, you have just said on the chat, do not link this picture. Bullshit. We need this picture linked. So I need you now to say it is okay to link that picture. Don't be a pain in the ass about this. Badger says she was quite hot. You know, she's beautiful. She's beautiful now as she was back then. You can't say she was quite hot. You either say she's always butt ugly or she's always extremely attractive. She now says, link the fucking picture then. Well, yeah, of course. Only an asshole would send it to me, and then I do my job. Then you go, oh, no, don't show anyone. I got some terrible news today. No particular order on the importance of these stories. Obviously, this one is of utmost importance. Importance, not importance. God. I found out today that my father has COVID. Speaking of my dad. The concern level out of 10, based on the conversations I've had with beloved Joanne, is I'll put it at a 2.5, maybe 3. This will require constant monitoring in order to ensure that it, to be able to get a handle on this. But long and the short is that Joanne recently had COVID, and she's in close proximity with my father, and so now he's got COVID. So I get a text, and so I call up, and I'm talking to her, and she's explaining to me the ins and outs of it. I guess last night, big fella, it affected him in a weird way. I don't know if it was the diabetes or 91 years old. 91, 92? I don't know. I think he's 91 right now, right? Okay, March of 24. So that means he'll be 91. Right away, I've got folks saying, get him on Paxlovid. He did go to the hospital. And they said, no, do not get on Paxlovid. And part of the reason is these side effects, they decided, there's a lot of unknown variables because you take the age of the patient, diabetic, dementia. Supposedly what I was told was that is not a good option. So Dad had like a lot of trouble walking yesterday. He couldn't walk. So Joanne called 911. Pellerito will probably get the 911 call and then like make fun of me or something. You can expect to hear that at some point somewhere. My hair's fucked up and I can't have that. And they said, all right, yeah, we're gonna come out and check on him. So they come out and they go, yeah, we're gonna take him in. They take him in the hospital. Get him an IV, get him set up. And this is why you got to be careful with dementia patients, because something like this can happen. This is why you don't move people from one residence to another when they have dementia. Because there's like a lot of discussion about getting my dad and Joanne out of that house that they're in. But Diana said, I totally disagree with that thought process. And Joanne's like, thank you for supporting me, because she didn't want to leave. Diana's like, yeah, especially with a dementia patient. You take them out of the one thing they know, and it's very, very difficult, and I don't advise it. It could make the dementia, the problem exacerbated, I guess is the word. So Dad is in a strange room last night, and they say to Joanne, go home, we'll take care of him. She goes home, and she's laying in bed. It's like 3 a.m. She gets a call, and it's a hospital. Yeah, he is an uncooperative patient. You must come get him. So she gets out of bed, she drives over there, and if he doesn't know where his wife is, that is a problem. This is critical. So he can now walk somehow. I don't know if it was the medicine they gave him or what, or the IV with the fluids. Who knows? But now he can ambulate. So she takes him home, gets him in bed, and then I get the text this morning. I call Joanne, and I'll check on him as soon as we get done today, and I'll keep everybody up to speed as best I can when I can. But I think he's going to be okay, but you never know. I mean, I lost my mother to that, and so that's why I always well, you never know with COVID. You just never know, especially when you have the other elements I mentioned that could contribute to this issue: the age, diabetes, the what do they call those things? Comorbidities and dementia. All right. So that's kind of like what was bubbling under. That was the last 12, 14 hours. And then, I'm like, all right, I gotta get back because I got a podcast to do, which is totally cool. Love the podcast thing. That's the one thing that I have to have each and every day. All right, let me see. Oh, when I'm just looking at my notes. I go into the so Ford Field is 2 blocks away from this hotel. I go into the hotel, and being that now I am donating my time and what I am in hosting and emceeing, that's gratis. They were nice enough to say, we take care of your hotel. And I go, fantastic, sounds great, love it. So I come walking into the hotel, and I give them my name, and the guy goes, all I need is a credit card. I go, yep, for the, in case I raid the snack bar, right? He goes, nope, that's to pay for the room. And I go, well, that's not what I was told. Are you sure? So we have this awkward exchange, and he goes, nope, you put your card in there and pay for the room. I go, well, okay, hold on a quick second. I call my contact person. I go, hey, so am I paying for the room? She goes, no, we are. I go, oh, well, okay. So I put my phone on speaker, and I go, I'm going to hand you off to Michael here behind the desk, and I'll let you two square this way. She goes, no problem. Talking to the guy. And then she goes, let me just give you a card number. And he goes, no, we don't do that. She goes, what do you mean? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You can't just give us a card number over the phone. You have to call the business office. You have to add the card. You have to do this. You have this hoop to jump through. You have that hoop to jump through. It just does not work this way. If you want, you can. And he's giving her all these options. And I know this is an hour before the event starts, so she's probably doing what it turned out she was doing, like getting ready for the event, And I go, excuse me, Michael. And I go to the lady, I go, how about I just pay for it and you pay me back? Would that be easier? Would that make this an easier thing? She goes, absolutely. I go, no problem. No problem. Pay for the room. Get up to the room. I'm exhausted. Remember, I told you I almost fell asleep on the road 3 times. I've got 20 minutes. I lay down and I'm gone. And I set my alarm. 20 minutes later, it goes off. I go, fuck yes. All right, let's go. Refreshed. Fresh as a daisy. Chris says that's a worse when you have issues checking in after a long day. Yeah, but it wasn't that bad. It was just that I could tell that phone call was going to put it off the rails. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Even if no one even pays me back, I don't give a shit. I just want to get in the bed. Here, let's go. Time passes. When I valeted the car, before I found this information out, it says $50. So even if you're a guest, you got to pay for the valet. It's $50 to park your car. Whatever. I go, do I pay you now? He goes, no, it's added onto the room. I go, oh, fuck yes. I'm not paying for this fucking room. Who gives a shit? I'm thinking to myself. I go, great, take it. Because first I said, are there other options for parking? He goes, well, if you got to go over here, there's a server lot, but if you do it here, it's $50. I go, okay, how do I pay? It's on the room. You just charge it at the room. I go, yeah, okay, great. So then I walk in. I find out I'm paying for the room. I go, oh, fucking shit. All right. So event goes down. It's time to leave this morning. And I got my little valet thing. And I go, and I'm like, you know what, Easy, you got to tip this guy. Okay? So I don't have any money at all. No cash. So I said, I go, where's the, so she tells me, there's an ATM, thank God. All right, get my $20. She gives me change. She gives me a 10 and 2 5s. Guy gets a car. I go, are you getting the car? He goes, yes, sir. I go, this is yours. And I give him $10. Okay? Now I've got 2 5s left. Make it 1 5. Because I was shocked at this. You know how, like, at the airport, they have lined up the ride shares or the cabs? They have that in Detroit, too. But it's not cabs or ride shares. It's homeless people. This homeless guy is literally right next to the valet stand. And I come walking out after, because the valet gets in my car. He goes, sir. I come out. I get in the car. Homeless guy has now left his post. And he's talking to himself. He's muttering. And he goes right in front of my car and he's putting his hands up like, stop. And I go, oh no, this is the big one. And he comes up to the car and he's looking at me. And I roll down the window. I go, how you doing, buddy? He goes, yes, please. Then I go, yeah, okay, you got it. I got 2 5s in my wallet. And I open up my wallet. I get one out. I go, here you go, buddy. This is all I got, but it's yours. And he goes, he did not speak a language. Now, it might have just been an act. I don't know. He had a green jacket. It was a long jacket that came down to like the top of his knees. Black guy. This is pertinent. And the hood was up. He walks away. I roll up my window. I drive out onto Brush. I make a left onto Brush, and I get to Madison, which is 150 yards down. Okay? As I'm at Madison, I look to my left, and the same guy is at that corner. And I'm like, did he fucking teleport? And then it dawns on me. They must have some type of official garment wear or some type of deal worked out. I'm not sure what, but guy number 2 looked exactly like guy number 1. Chris says Bamf. That is a Nightcrawler reference from Marvel Comics. And so the only thing I can think of is that someone bought a lot of the same gear and like handed them out at like a coat drive. So they all look alike, you know? They all have the same type of gear, which I think is kind of cool, you know? If you are in a community like that, I mean, this is some areas of Detroit are quite destitute, and this is an issue without a doubt. If you had a required uniform for the homeless population, I think that would go a long way to like benefit them. You know? I think there's something to be said about that. If the homeless people in Detroit are at like a higher plane, a higher level of homelessness, I think overall it helps the vibe of the city, you know? And so, and it's tricky. And by the way, Chris writes, he's a member of the Homeless Guys Local 108. That is fantastic. Corey says, I agree. The homeless should be forced to wear uniforms. It is what it is. It is a uniform, and it's a uniform. I don't know why, but to me, it just makes sense. It's just a better quality of fucked up individual. So when he comes up, you're at a crossroads. And I think where my brain is right now is when it comes to that scenario, the argument can be made. When you do that, you're basically giving them a loaded gun. You're basically, because that money is probably going to be used for something that's not so great. Perhaps alcohol or a controlled substance or something like that. I don't know. I can't say for sure. More than likely, yes. But at the end of the day, that person is probably, that is the the best their existence is going to be at that point, in my opinion. And I don't think that there's going to be any turning it around. I don't think there's going to be any fucking rags to riches, my pillow guy stories of somebody turning it around. They'll have to do it on their own. But I think, what do you think? What's the better option? Giving him $5 or ignoring him? And, I mean, he even gave me a bless you, sir. Bless you, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know. Stevie says ignore. Yoda World suggests he'd get a new stabbing knife with that. Well, anyway, that's how that unfolded for your old pal Easy. And then for the ride home today, it was zero fatigue. Zero. I crushed it. Corey says, ignore them 100% of the time. Don't even make eye contact. I always say I don't have cash, but I'll buy you a sandwich when I want to be nice. Yeah, but it's much easier to just give them $5. Because where I was, there was no place nearby to go get some food. I guess I could go into the hotel lobby. I mean, the guy didn't want any fucking food. He wanted to get high. All right. Let's see. Thank you so much for being part of this podcast, even though it is late. Sorry I'm late. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'm about to cut you out. I do want to say, though, a mention on Patreon. Right now, at this very moment, I just got a new person to sign up. And as of right this moment, Patreon has been coming back over a period of about 10 months. And thank you to Michael C., who just signed up for a free 7-day trial, and hopefully that'll become a regular membership to Patreon. I'm at a point right now in my memberships for people who've signed up and subscribed to Patreon. It is at the highest it's been since May of 2021. Because when you start a Patreon, everybody's all hot and heavy, and it's all like, oh, my God, yeah, easy, go get them. And then, people help for about so long, and then it starts to drop off, and you're like, oh. Well, since about a year and a half ago, when the free trial became a thing, that was a game changer to give people the opportunity to try it out for 7 days free. From that moment forward, it's just been like, it hasn't ever taken a substantial jump quickly, but it went from a low of 170 to where it is right now at 236. So, and like I said, that's the highest it's been since May of 2021. So that is outstanding. I appreciate that very much. So if you are still on Patreon and never really left or been coming and going, I can't say how awesome that is. I appreciate that very much. You've helped me stay being able to do this with that. That is outstanding. Chris says, brick by brick, screw the Zaniacs. Oh, man. Are the Zaniacs kicking up their heels again? I'm pretty sure they are. One of my moles reached out to me. And you see this from time to time. Out of the blue, John Jamingo will like get something in his craw and he'll throw it out onto the former Zaniacs United page and like wind all these people up. And then the same people every time always weigh in with the same like really aggressive fuck Eric jokes. And it's always the same every time. And it's the same people, and it's pretty intense what happens. And so the latest is John took a screenshot of like me doing this show. And I guess when you do that, there's a way to look at like how many viewers there are. And he took that picture, and then he got a picture of his own show with the same like digits. And I guess when you compare them, John's show had like a higher number of people. And so he posted that, look at this. This is a huge deal. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, we knew it. Oh, but yeah, fuck him. Yeah, fuck that guy. He's a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a cocksucker. What an asshole son of a bitch. We hope he dies. Hope his kids get murdered. And it's all like ridiculous. And so that all unfolded like in the past couple of days. And I'm like, where does this come from? I guess what's happening in your noggin this is what's going to happen for the day. It seems ridiculous to me. If you're going to actually have something to say, I mean, how does that help you? I mean, other than just you thinking, yeah, we got him, guys, go get him. So, all right, whatever. So I saw that, and I was talking with one of the moles, and he says, "Is that real? Is there only 16 people that are watching your show?" And I go, "Well, at that time, apparently there was." And he goes, "How does that work?" I go, "Well, I'm not sure. I usually average 40 to 50 per show, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, 40 to 50 at any given time average." And it's, it doesn't, it's difficult to get a few people on Twitch more. It's difficult to lose a few. That's pretty much what it is. Be honest with you. I started Twitch. The number one reason why I started broadcasting on Twitch was because it was becoming obvious that on Facebook, it was becoming easier and easier to get restrictions put on you because of something you say or something you do. And it was in September of, I forgot how many years ago it was that I made that switch just to Twitch for that reason alone. So I'm very diversified. I make my money and my living based on multiple revenue streams, many. And truth be told, when it comes to Twitch, $150, $200 a month is not a big deal at all. And I don't count on it. That's not the reason why I signed up for it, though. I signed up for it so I can do this show uninterrupted without restrictions being put on me or whatever, and it's very easy for someone to take a look at how many viewers I have and whatnot and form an opinion like, oh, he is just nobody. Everybody hates that guy. He's a pile of shit. I mean, hell, you could do that with everything. I have this many people on Twitch and even less on people watching on YouTube, and Facebook is what it is, but somehow I managed to, without boring you all the minutia, to carve my place out and be able to do what I do effectively. And this is my job. There is nothing else. Out of everything that I do, the one thing that is 100% the most important thing is the podcast. And with the podcast comes sponsorships, local direct sponsorships on my audio podcast. The amount of ad money I get from those ads you hear before the show and after the show and in the middle of the show on the audio podcast, it all adds to one big pot. You add into that the Patreon number, and doing okay. You don't see me sweating too much of anything these days. Add that in with the radio jobs, the hockey job, the basketball job. I have no boss other than my wife and baby Jesus. I have nothing to complain about. So take it with a huge grain of salt when you see anything that shows up amongst that silly bunch rascals that they are doing what they do. I find it to be quite enjoyable to see, and I'm glad that it happens. Anyway, wanted to get that off my chest because there was a couple people that were tipping me off about the shenanigans going on with those nice folks. So if you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube enjoying the show. The full show is available on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Or download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live. I'm sorry, at Eric Zane Live, all one word. And I've mentioned the Patreon plenty, patreon.com/Eric Zane. I have the brand new episode of Who Are These Free Beers that is up. I have the latest Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. And there you go. All there for you. Sign up for a 7-day free trial at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This show originates in the Impact Power Sports Studio. Get yourself an ATV, UTV, side-by-side, motorcycle, golf cart, Easy-Go golf cart, Yamaha golf cart, all at Impact Power Sports. They are in Rockford, Michigan, along 14 Mile Road. Good group of folks over there. And their website, impactpowersportsmi.com. Green Medicine Shop. I would love you to get your cannabis at Green Medicine Shop. You can find them online at thegreenmedicineshop.com. Thank you very much. Outstanding group of people over there. And they have everything that you could ever want in a cannabis shop. And, you know, for some of you folks who don't live near Greenville, Michigan, you're like, I already got a shop I go to. I love it. Well, I know that. But if you happen to be within the area of Greenville, Michigan, and you're like, I might want to pick up some supplies, I would love it if you at least try them just once. Please mention me when you walk in the door. Shawnee is the young lady who runs the store with her husband, Matt. They're awesome. One of the fantastic power couples in West Michigan. And Shawnee is a pharmacist. She's outstanding. She can answer any questions you have if you are what's known as canna-curious. Okay, thank you to the Green Medicine Shop. And they got all the other shit you want. Bud. They have, what are they called? Dabbers, vapes, pre-rolls, or you just buy a big bag of weed and you roll it yourself. I don't know, man. It's a great shop, though. I've been there myself. All the CBD products you want, all there at The Green Medicine Shop, online at thegreenmedicineshop.com. I found out that cat, Joe Knight, who I talked to him not that long ago, ex-radio guy from Town Square. I might have mentioned this. His story is interesting because after I realized who he was. He had a job at a Greenville, Michigan radio station, which is right in the ballpark of Green Medicine Shop. He knows Shawnee and Matt. And he was on the air, and he was like a fucking flamethrower fucking jock who was like fucking shit up. And what I mean by that is, and I didn't even know this. I knew Shawnee and Matt for quite some time, and they're like, hey, there's this guy named Joe Knight, and I had forgotten who he was. This is years ago. Joe Knight, who's a big advocate for us, and he's been talking about us on his radio show about how the city of Greenville's fucked up. And so he's a huge advocate, and we count on him. And he, I guess, got shit canned somehow in a typical radio bullshit. So he's pretty cool. I like that. And he became so active within, like, the organizational hierarchy in the government of Greenville, Michigan, that he ran for office. And I don't know what the position was, if it was like commissioner or mayor or burgermeister or some shit. But like the election night, the most recent one, it was him and some other person. And I guess he lost by 15 votes. Okay. And so he would have been like the big swinging dick if he won it. Pretty crazy story there. Just phenomenal. Nice job. But I love that. Anyway, thank you to Green Medicine Shop. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. 231. Sorry. Something in my teeth. 231-332-6505. Buy now, refinance later with the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. They are awesome, and they can help you get started on your mortgage today to buy your home. So sweet. Outstanding. My Policy Shop Insurance. I just had a 1-hour phone conversation with Frank Fuss. And this is what I mean when I stress to you how important it is that if you need help with your health care, this is the guy to call. Linda, murder lover Linda, just had a conversation with him today, too. She's taking advantage of his unbelievable skill. But for the NFK, he takes these powerful anti-seizure medicines. For some reason, the price just skyrocketed to $87. It was $5. And so I called him. I go, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah, I see it. I don't know why. This is what I'm going to do. And he took his insurance policy and basically switched insurance carriers from Blue Care Network to Aetna. And he has the same coverage he had before, same caregiver, everything. Nothing else has changed, except now he gets that same exact medicine, zero cost. I don't know how it happens. All I know is that he is a Medicare recipient, and so Frank he takes care of everything. When this shit happens and you're a consumer and you're like, well, what do I do? You're on the phone for hours, but you don't even know where to start, okay? So it's a real wild goose chase. And they probably do that by design, thinking you'll just, fuck it, I'd rather pay $87 for this medicine that was $5. Bullshit. I called Frank. He took care of that shit. Now, granted, I'm on the phone with him for like fucking 45 minutes, but he's doing it all. I do nothing. I just am on the phone. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. Okay, click, done, boom. That's how it is with Frank. So if you or someone you know or love is in the Medicare system, if you are getting Social Security or going to, Frank does Social Security planning and Medicare planning. If you are just without insurance, without health care, maybe you're between jobs, maybe your boss doesn't offer insurance, maybe you're self-employed like I am, you got to get your insurance on healthcare.gov. Frank does all that for you. So the starting point is buyinsurancehere.com. That's where you get the ball rolling. Buyinsurancehere.com. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.